Welcome back to the Bullet Grill House High School Sports Pregame Show. Craig Irwin alongside me, Brian Besh, Chris Moran on the far end down there, owner, operator, entrepreneur of Bullet Grill House. And we talked about it this last segment as we went out. The benefit next Saturday, September 24th.
September 24th, yep. Starts at 9 to 10 is the ride out, the poker run. And then everybody will be back by 2. So that'll be the afternoon. Come out. Well, I think they're supposed to have some music, 50-50 raffle. So still getting some of the details together.
A lot of good stuff going on. Supporting a point-blank firefighter. He's got cancer and helping battle that deal. And talking about a guy that risks his life is the pager goes off in the middle of the night, whether he's got to go to work the next morning or whatever it may be, and getting up and answering that call and protecting life and property here in the county, here in San Jacinto County, and he does it for free. And so just real simple to get out, donate, and support. And you're donating, but yet through the auction and everything else, you're gaining back. So something back. So it's not like you're giving something for nothing, but on the turnaround of that deal, there's nothing wrong with giving to somebody who asks for nothing in return, but a little bit of help now whenever he's in a bind. So get out here. But Bullet Grill House next weekend be a lot of fun. Saturdays, I was here this last Saturday here at Bullet Grill House, my wife and I, and some friends of ours. 3 different games going on the screens, and got to watch a little UT football and have some delicious food. So we'll talk about a little bit more about that at the end of the segment. Let's go back to Palestine, Brian. Something that you said, I've already turned you up. Something you said that kind of caught my eye. New quarterback in for the Lions, and I think he's going to be a fit there, and I think that's going to be part of the success and longevity for the Livingston Lions is something stable there. You've talked in the past couple weeks about there's been a lot of guys moving. Coach Vanover moving a lot of guys around and trying to find the right fit in the positions and stuff. Do you see that's where Livingston's going?
Honestly, I don't know that that's going to slow down much at all. You've got some guys that they want to run one way, especially on that offensive line. That they certainly want them going one way, but there's a few of them that they'll have going both defense and offense. A, either they're good athletes, or B, it's just out of necessity. We saw both quarterbacks on Friday. Jacob St. Martin is the other quarterback, and he guided them through those first 2 games. He actually came in and threw a touchdown pass. The only throw of the night for him was a 24-yard touchdown pass where McNeil lines up in the backfield. He goes out. They roll the other way. St. Martin turns back around, finds him for a 24-yard touchdown pass, and that was his 3rd touchdown of the night for John Tavian McNeil. But McNeil was able to rush for 140 yards in this game and completely outrushed the Palestine offense. In fact, Livingston gained more yards in this game than Palestine did. There was a few plays where the defense allowed a few runs to get outside, but other than that, there was a couple of passes that got away from them. They're still not good in coverage. I don't know that they're going to be this year. They're doing a better job of masking that and trying to help out with some linebackers and things like that. But they had 5, 6, even 7 defensive linemen in the game at a time this past Friday, and was able to stop that run between the tackles. That Palestine wasn't getting anything, and I know you've seen that offense before.
Yes.
To where they'll spread them out. It's kind of a what's the word I'm looking for? It's not quite what Cold Spring runs, but
like a slot T type look.
It's kind of a slot T type look, yeah. But they had trouble running the football, and consequently, Livingston should have won the game. There was a couple of penalties that called back very big plays where McNeil found Chevy Peters for a touchdown on one play. The other was about a 70-yarder that ended up on the 5-yard line down on Palestine in the field. And a couple of penalties wiped those out. They had a few other plays where penalties just killed them. 13 penalties on the night. They were horrible in that area. Still needs to be cleaned up. And the kicking game is bad. I think Coach Vanover's words the other night were it looked like he was kicking an egg. And it was rough. It was rough. But once they get a few areas cleaned up, they've got a game this week, and I know we're going to talk about that next segment, but they've got a game this week against Spring Legacy, and it's a homecoming game, so you got some distractions that way, but they'll be looking to turn it around whenever they get in there on Friday night in Lions Stadium again.
Talk about some games that wrapped up from last week is Klein Collins defeats Humble Summer Creek 2017 was the final there. Vider falls to Brazosport. Vider drops to 0-3 on the season. 34-12 was the final there. Alvin over Beaumont United, falls to Beaumont United 48-27. Beaumont Westbrook falls to Deer Park 49-21. Spring Westfield falls to North Shore 55-24. A game that I want to let's talk about this one real quick. Humble gets their first win of the season, 45-35 over Spring Decaney. C.E. King defeats Pearland 45-7, and this is the first I've heard of Pearland in a long time really being off their game and not being a powerhouse and a competitor in that top tier of football. But one of the games that I really wanted to bring up was Splendora falls at homecoming to Galena Park Yellow Jackets 28-14. When's the last time we talked about Galena Park being 2-1 going into the fourth week of the season?
It's they kind of live in the shadows over there of North Shore. They had a few seasons, I believe, here in the past 10 years where I think they had a winning record, may have gone to the playoffs, but it's certainly not anything to where
you write home about.
Power. Yeah. And it's like I say, whenever you've got North Shore sitting over there next door, you don't hear anything about Park High.
And what a lot of people may or may not know is Galena Park and North Shore, they're in the same school district, right? And North Shore has a tendency to drag a lot of the talent over there. I guess is the right way to put it. And
there's some schools that are famous for it.
Yes, and Galena Park is right there. Galena Park Yellow Jackets are right there in downtown Galena Park. North Shore is right there by San Jack College. They're off of Uvalde, Wood Forest in that area, and kind of on the outskirts of Galena Park. And they tend to drag a bunch of the talent over there. So with that being said, with Galena Park kind of making a staple, I mean, yes, they beat Splendora. Splendora's not a bad football team. Really and truly, I watched them play. It's a team that you're kind of paying attention to whenever y'all get into district play with the Livingston Lions. But for them to go in there and win that game 28-14, I have not talked to Roland, which his son's the quarterback there in Splendora. After Cold Spring threw the old thump down on Splendora 2 weeks ago, he's been pretty quiet.
Yeah.
He hasn't wanted to talk much football.
Well, and there's three schools over there that I've been especially watching. Vider is not having a year anything close. I mean, that reminds me of the Vider from the 80s. Like
right.
Those scores that we're seeing Vider getting blown out by 3, 4, 5 touchdowns. I mean, we haven't seen that in a couple of decades. Huffman is not the same team from what I hear that they were. I'll be interested really to see this Spring Legacy game this week with Livingston, because then you can kind of scoreboard compare. Huffman was able to beat Spring Legacy in the last 13 seconds of the game. They won the game by 1 point. I think it actually came down to the extra point for them to win 28-27. And then, like you say, the Splendora thing is really interesting. I feel like Lumberton and LCM are givens. They're going to be very good. And, I mean, we saw what LCM did in the playoffs last year, going 3-4 rounds. We saw what Lumberton did. And nobody saw them coming last year, and they sure put it on a lot of teams in the district.
Lumberton put the thump down on Nacogdoches last week. 52-6 was the final. Silsbee defeats Nederland 24-16. PNG beats West Orange Stark 27-6, and I really thought I was really shocked by that score, Brian. I wasn't expecting it to be that big of a spread.
neither of those schools, you don't expect any kind of blowout like that.
You expect a 3-point game.
Yeah, it's both of those schools are such powers, and I can tell you the folks over at West Orange Star, I feel sorry for whoever they got next.
Yeah, because they're going. Well, I'll tell you and they're in the pick'ems because they got Newton this week. But,
okay, all right.
That's going to be a game.
Not the same team that they've been.
No, so. Huffman defeats Needville 24-14. Game that kind of compare that scoreboard to as Livingston faced Needville just a week prior.
Yep.
So
44-19 loss for Livingston, but like I say, I saw a completely different team last week than what I saw in weeks 1 and 2. It's not even comparable, both the defense and the offense. It's I'm much more excited about covering this Livingston team after this week 3 game because it's like Coach Vanover said, if we will play like we did this past Friday, we're going to beat a lot of folks.
No, and Newton defeated Jasper 20-6. And kind of a game that Newton, we know Jasper's down from what they were previously as Daryl Barbay's no longer there.
Got a story about it whenever we were in Palestine on Friday. Palestine got up on Jasper 21-0. Ended up losing that game. I believe it was a 40-28 score somewhere within there. But, I mean, just surprised that Jasper would be down 3 touchdowns at any point in the game. But they were able to come back and win against a Palestine team that I feel like Livingston, I mean, if you play it again, I don't know that Livingston doesn't win that game.
I agree with you. We're going to drop down to 3A. Shepherd falls to Orangeville 48-28. Was the final there. The big story there, New Waverly creeps into the top 10 in the Dave Campbell's Texas high school football standings.
Okay.
New Waverly last week had creeped up in the top 10. They were number 9. They fall to Anahuac 35-5 was the final there. A safety and a field goal were the only points that New Waverly was able to put up. That game was on the road in Anahuac, and buddy of mine, Trent Hart, was able to bring that game to you on Anahuac Sports Live. You can find them on Facebook and YouTube. Go give them a like and all that good stuff. But a game that I thought was going to be a little bit tighter. Now, over on the pick'ems there on the Anahuac Sports Live, I picked Anahuac to win that game, and I thought they would. They got a freshman quarterback that is just absolutely phenomenal. But I thought with New Waverly being in the top 10 in 3A that they were going to really be able to excel. And Anahuac upset them.
Or is it? Because Anahuac has – I've heard a ton about Anahuac ever since the year started. I've had coaches that came and all the way from Hearn that are back in the area now come tell me about Anahuac. I mean, everybody's talking about them right now. There's
a lot there, and I really feel like Anahuac's going to be a contender to win the district title over there, and I'm going to have a podcast out probably next week talking about the districts.
Decades ago, they always built their teams on a very, very good defense. They always had 3 or 4 running backs that they could keep throwing at you. And even for a smaller school, they had a ton of athletes, and they would just keep going in and out and in and out. And they had more players than you did, and they knew it.
Yeah, and they had that depth that was there and were able to put some fresh legs on the field, and you're not going to wear us down. That's what Anahuac was built on in the past, and that's pretty much where they're at now. One of the things that you're not going to wear down is the menu items here at Bullet Grill House. And, I mean, new menu come out 2 weeks ago.
Chris, how many pages is the menu?
4, isn't it?
It opens
up to
4.
Yeah, front and back. Though,
yeah, so
it's 8 pages.
It's 8 pages of food, yeah.
Dude, so we were in here Saturday, and the wife and I and some friends of ours, and we spent 30 minutes going through the menu, trying to figure out, what are we going to try? Everybody tried something different because of the simple fact it was so dang everything's so good and so appealing. My wife had like the bougie grilled cheese, and she absolutely loved it. I had the wings, and and I ordered the wings just for the simple fact is I wanted Ryan to try them, and he was like, "Oh my God, these are like delicious."
And you probably need to explain because they're not like the chicken wings.
No,
that
they're
you're gonna
not
get
no
somewhere
beat
else.
up wings.
They're smoked and they're the entire wing. And Chris
Yeah.
can do a better job of explaining it than I can. But these things are, I mean, they're the size of your arm.
Yeah, they're the whole jumbo wings, and boy, nowadays you can't get those anymore. Everybody's
No.
going smaller and smaller.
Everybody went to the midget chickens.
Yeah, so no, there's a we always try to talk people down on what they want to order. They order like the 8-piece, and we're like, it's a lot of wings. I can do it, and then they never can finish them. So,
Dude, I'm telling you,
It's good for 4 meals though.
you record on Wednesday night. You want to come out, try a wing. They're $2 tonight on a Wednesday night. So come out, play some bingo.
There you go.
Try a $2 wing. And if you don't like the wings, we do our tenders for $2 too. So, and if you haven't seen our tenders are they're not the frozen ones you get in the at any other place. It's hand breaded and they're monstrous. So, again, those are another one that we try to talk people down. They say, I can eat 3-4 tenders, and no, it's a lot of tenders.
Yeah. You're listening to the Bullet Grill House High School Sports pregame show on 102.3 The Eagle, AM 1440 The Score, and 105.5 KDOL. We'll be back with the Pick'ems right after this.